Top 25 Best Single-Player Games on Nintendo Switch. The Switch era delivered some of the greatest single-player experiences in gaming history. From 2017 through 2025, Nintendo's hybrid console proved portable gaming could match anything on traditional consoles. This list celebrates the 25 absolute best games that defined the platform, including titles that arrived in the console's final year and were enhanced for Switch 2. Let's count down the definitive list.
Short Hike is pure, concentrated joy. You play as Claire, a bird hiking up Hawk Peak to get cell reception for an important phone call. That simple premise becomes one of gaming's most peaceful, satisfying experiences. A perfect 1-2 hour adventure with no combat, no fail states, just exploration and charm. The movement is what makes it magical. You run, build momentum, flap your wings to gain height, and glide through the air with complete control. Finding golden feathers extends your stamina, opening new paths up the mountain. Traversal itself becomes the reward. Every cliff face is a puzzle of momentum and timing that feels incredible to solve. The island is small but packed with life. You'll meet hikers, help people find lost items, race other visitors, fish, play beach volleyball. Every NPC has something genuine to say, creating this warm sense of community. The pixelated art style and acoustic guitar soundtrack complete the cozy atmosphere perfectly. This is the game you play between 100-hour RPGs to remember why you love gaming.
Number 24. Dave the Diver. Mint Rocket's surprise hit delivers one of the most addictive loops on Switch. By day, you dive into the blue hole, catching exotic fish and fighting underwater predators. By night, you run a sushi restaurant, serving what you caught. It sounds simple. It's absolutely irresistible for the first 15-20 hours. The diving is pure satisfaction. You explore gorgeous underwater environments, harpoon rare fish, discover hidden caves and shipwrecks, fight off sharks and giant squids. Managing oxygen creates genuine tension. Do you chase that legendary fish deeper or surface before you drown? Every dive feels like an adventure, especially as you unlock better equipment that lets you explore deeper, darker waters. The sushi restaurant adds this perfect counterbalance. You prep ingredients, manage staff, serve customers, unlock new recipes. Watching customers' reactions to perfectly prepared dishes feels genuinely rewarding. The game keeps adding new systems, fish farming, ingredient sourcing, side quests that keep the loop fresh. Just know it's best enjoyed in 15-20 hour bursts rather than grinding to 100% completion.
Number 23, Unicorn Overlord. Vanillaware's tactical RPG is a visual masterpiece. Those hand-painted backgrounds and character designs are stunning. Every frame looks like artwork you'd hang on your wall. But beneath that beauty lies a deep tactical system built around the gambit mechanic, where you program your unit's AI behavior and watch your strategies unfold across massive battlefields. The customization is incredibly deep. You build squads, assign classes, program combat behaviors, optimize formations. Getting everything working in perfect harmony is deeply satisfying. Your units execute complex strategies automatically once you've set them up properly. Battles become these grand spectacles where your planning pays off in spectacular fashion. The story spans a massive fantasy world with multiple kingdoms to liberate and dozens of recruitable characters. If you love Fire Emblem's tactical depth but want something that looks like a moving painting, this delivers. It's Vanillaware doing what they do best, creating worlds so beautiful you never want to leave them.
Number 22. Sea of Stars. Sabotage Studios' love letter to classic JRPGs features some of the most gorgeous pixel art on Switch. Every environment is handcrafted with incredible attention to detail, the animations are silky smooth, and the world design captures that sense of grand adventure that defined the SNES era. The combat system keeps battles engaging, with timed hits and a locks mechanic where you interrupt enemy spells by hitting them with the right damage types. It's simple but satisfying, making every encounter feel active rather than passive. The adventure takes you across diverse biomes, lush forests, snowy peaks, ancient ruins, each with memorable set pieces and boss battles. The Chrono Trigger inspiration runs deep, from the time travel elements to the way the story unfolds across different eras. It's clearly made by people who deeply love classic JRPGs, and that passion shines through in every detail. For anyone who grew up on SNES RPGs, this captures that magic while adding modern quality of life features.
Number 21, Star Ocean: The Second Story R. This remake transforms a PS1 classic into something visually distinctive. Pixel art characters on 3D backgrounds with this dreamlike aesthetic that makes everything feel slightly surreal. It's an artistic choice that really stands out on Switch's OLED screen, giving a game its own unique identity. The dual protagonist system is brilliant. Choose between Claude or Reina at the start, and you get genuinely different story perspectives. It's not just cosmetic. Entire plot threads, character relationships, and recruitable party members change based on your choice. The replay value is substantial because you're genuinely seeing a different story the second time through. Combat blends real-time action with RPG progression in satisfying ways. You chain combos, dodge attacks, and manage your party's abilities in fast-paced battles that reward skill. The crafting system is deep. You can create weapons, items, even write books, giving you tons of side activities beyond the main story. Classic Star Ocean gameplay, polished to a shine. Number 20, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Nintendo's first truly fresh 2D Mario in decades is bursting with creative energy. The Wonder effects are the headlining feature, reality-bending transformations that turn levels into musical sequences, morph you in different forms, or completely alter the physics. When a Wonder Seed activates, levels become these wild, unpredictable experiences where anything can happen. The level design is vintage Nintendo quality. Every stage introduces new ideas, iterates on them, then combines them in clever ways. The new power-ups, Elephant Mario's Water Spraying Trunk, Drill Mario's Ground Pound Traversal open up creative solutions to obstacles. The badge system adds another layer, letting you equip abilities that change how you approach challenges. The multiplayer is brilliantly implemented. Playing with friends is completely seamless. You help each other without getting in each other's way, and the difficulty scales naturally whether you're solo or in a full group. The art style is gorgeous, with vibrant colors and fluid animations that make every moment pop. This is Nintendo doing what they do best: pure, joyful platforming.
Number 19, Luigi's Mansion 3. Next Level Games created one of the best-looking games on Switch. The lighting is phenomenal, the animation's film quality, and every floor of the Last Resort Hotel is packed with environmental detail that makes exploration constantly rewarding. This is technical wizardry that pushes the Switch further than you'd think possible. The 4x4 structure keeps things fresh. Each level has its own theme: Egyptian tomb, medieval castle, disco dance floor, with unique ghosts and puzzles tailored to that setting. The boss fights are creative spectacles that use the Poltergust in clever ways, and Luigi, your gooey doppelganger, adds co-op possibilities and puzzle solutions that make you rethink every room. The ghost catching still feels great. You suck up ghosts with the Poltergust, slam them repeatedly to deal damage, and use your various tools to solve environmental puzzles. The slam mechanic makes combat satisfying, even if it does make things a bit easier than the original. For anyone who loves exploration and puzzle solving wrapped in gorgeous presentation, this delivers.
Number 18, Kirby and the Forgotten Land. HAL Laboratories' first fully 3D Kirby is everything you'd want from the series' transition to 3 dimensions. The controls feel perfect. Precise platforming, satisfying combat, and that signature Kirby charm in every interaction. Copy abilities have never felt better, with each power offering genuinely different ways to approach challenges. Mouthful mode is the new gimmick, where Kirby swallows massive objects, cars, vending machines, entire staircases. It looks hilarious and leads to creative gameplay moments, even if it does interrupt the copy ability flow sometimes. But when you're playing as Hammer Kirby smashing everything, or Ranger Kirby sniping enemies from afar, the core platforming excellence shines through. The post-game for Go Dreams mode is where difficulty spikes significantly, offering real challenges for veteran players. Boss refights, precision platforming gauntlets, time trials. It's all there for people who want to push their skills. HAL made a Kirby game that works perfectly for newcomers while still rewarding mastery.
Number 17, Astral Chain. Platinum Games' Switch exclusive is mechanically ambitious in ways that push the action genre forward. You control your character and a legion, a supernatural being chained to you, simultaneously. Mastering both creates this unique combat flow where you're attacking with your sword, while your legion attacks from another angle, setting up these devastating combos. The legion system has real depth. You unlock different legion types with unique abilities: beast for tracking, arm for raw power, arrow for ranged attacks. Switching between the mid-combat while managing your character's position creates these incredibly stylish moments when everything clicks. The sync attacks add screen-filling spectacle to key moments. The world design blends cyberpunk aesthetics with supernatural horror brilliantly. You're investigating dimensional tears in a futuristic city, fighting chimeras that bleed through from another dimension. The visual style is striking. Neon-soaked streets contrasting with otherworldly corruption. When Platinum Games' combat engine fires on all cylinders here, it's phenomenal.
Number 16. Fire Emblem Three Houses. Intelligence Systems created the most ambitious Fire Emblem ever. The three-house system creates genuinely different stories depending on which faction you choose. Not just different missions, but completely different perspectives on the same conflict. Your students become your army, and watching them grow from academy recruits to war veterans creates powerful emotional investment. The tactical battles deliver classic Fire Emblem tension. Permanent death means every decision matters. Positioning, weapon triangles, terrain effects, it all combines into this chess-like strategy where one mistake can cascade into disaster. The difficulty options let you tailor the challenge, from casual story experiences to brutal permadeath runs where every move is life or death. The social simulation between battles builds relationships that matter in combat. Support conversations unlock stat bonuses and new abilities. Teaching your students raises their skills in specific weapon types and magic. It's Fire Emblem meeting Persona's social calendar. And when it works, it's deeply engaging. This is a 100-hour commitment that rewards that investment with one of the Switch's richest tactical experiences.
Number 15. Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Retro Studios' platforming masterpiece is legitimately one of the hardest, most precisely designed 2D platformers ever made. The level design is phenomenal. Every stage introduces mechanics, iterates on them, then combines them in ways that demand absolute mastery. This is traditional platforming at its absolute peak. David Wise's soundtrack is legendary. The music is so good, it elevates entire stages. Grassland Groove, Windmill Hills, Seashore War, these are tracks that become inseparable from the levels themselves. The way the music syncs with the action creates these perfect moments where gameplay and audio harmonize into pure flow state. The difficulty is punishing, but always fair. When you die, it's because you mistimed a jump or misjudged a gap, not because the game cheated you. That fairness makes you want to master it. And when you finally nail that perfect run-through of brutal stage, the satisfaction is immense. Funky Mode offers accessibility for less experienced players, while the main game challenges veterans. Masterpiece.
Number 14. Super Mario Odyssey. Mario's movement mechanics reach their absolute peak here. Cappy opens up a massive skill ceiling. Advanced players discover tech like cap jumps, dive cancels, and roll jumps that let them sequence break and speedrun in incredible ways. Just controlling Mario feels joyful, with perfect weight, momentum, and responsiveness that defines peak Nintendo game feel. The kingdoms are imaginative and dense with secrets. New Dog City is a fully realized metropolis where Mario feels delightfully out of place. The Luncheon Kingdom is a food-themed fever dream. Each world has its own identity, memorable music, and creative uses of the capture mechanic that lets you possess enemies and objects. The capture system is brilliant, possessing a T-Rex to smash through obstacles, becoming a bullet bill to soar through the sky, controlling an electrical wire to navigate through walls. Every capture feels distinct and opens up new gameplay possibilities. The variety keeps every kingdom feeling fresh. The post-game content is where hardcore players find their challenge. The darker side of the moon is brutally difficult, demanding perfect execution of advanced movement tech. Speedrunners have found incredible shortcuts and techniques. This is a platformer with infinite replayability for people who want to master it.
Number 13. Xenoblade Chronicles 3. Monolith Soft's JRPG epic is staggering in scope. The world spans multiple continents, the story tackles heavy philosophical themes about war and mortality, and the runtime easily exceeds 100 hours. This is a game that demands commitment, but rewards it with one of the most emotionally powerful narratives in the genre. The combat system blends real-time action with MMO-style party management. You're chaining arts, building combo multipliers, positioning for positional bonuses, and timing fusion arts for maximum damage. 6 party members fighting simultaneously creates spectacular battlefield chaos. When everything clicks, it's deeply satisfying. The world design is breathtaking. Massive open areas stretch to the horizon, filled with high-level monsters, hidden secrets, and side quests that flesh out the lore. The day-night cycle and weather systems make exploration constantly dynamic. The sense of scale is incredible. You're always seeing some distant landmark and wondering when you'll get there. The story is the real draw. The conflict between Kevis and Agnes, the mystery of the Endless Now, the personal journeys of the main cast. It's heavy, philosophical, and ultimately cathartic. When the payoffs hit in the final chapters, they hit hard. For JRPG fans who want dense world building and emotional storytelling, this is essential.
Number 12. The Legend of Zelda: Tears of the Kingdom. Nintendo's sequel to Breath of the Wild is monumental. The Ultra Hand building mechanic transforms Hyrule into a physics sandbox where your creativity is the only limit. You can build vehicles, flying machines, elaborate contraptions that solve puzzles in completely unintended ways. Its engineering meets adventure in ways no other game attempts. The three-layered world is massive. Surface Hyrule returns but transformed. The Sky Islands offer vertical exploration and environmental puzzles, and the depths create this dark mirror world of underground exploration. The amount of content is staggering. Hundreds of shrines, dozens of side quests, collectibles hidden everywhere. The abilities expand on Breath of the Wild's formula brilliantly. Ultra Hand lets you manipulate objects and build contraptions. Fuse combines weapons and materials for creative combat solutions. Ascend lets you phase through ceilings, completely changing how you approach dungeons. Recall rewinds objects through time. Each ability opens up possibilities. The dungeons returned with more traditional designs, while keeping the open-ended approach. The boss fights are spectacular set pieces. The story builds on Breath of the Wild's foundation with more cutscenes and character moments. This is Nintendo at their most ambitious. A game so vast it redefines what's possible in open-world design. Absolute masterpiece.
Getting a 100+ hour JRPG this complex running on Switch is genuinely impressive. Atlas optimized brilliantly. Yes, it's 540p in handheld and runs at 30 FPS, but the art style is so strong that it still looks fantastic. More importantly, the calendar structure is perfect for portable play. Knock out a confidant scene on your commute, manage your stats before bed, pick up exactly where you left off. The turn-based combat means 30 FPS is completely fine. You're not relying on reflexes, you're planning attacks, exploiting weaknesses, and executing all-out attacks that look incredibly stylish even at lower resolution. The Persona Fusion system is endlessly deep, letting you create custom demons tailored to your playstyle. The social simulation is what makes this special. You're living a double life. High school student by day, phantom thief by night. Building relationships with confidants unlocks new abilities and story threads. Managing your time across hundreds of in-game days creates this unique rhythm where every decision matters. The story is a 100-hour epic about rebellion against corrupt authority. The dungeons, palaces representing warped desires, are visually spectacular and thematically rich. The soundtrack is phenomenal. The characters are genuinely well written with surprising depth. This is one of the best JRPGs ever made, and now you can play it anywhere. Essential.
Number 10. Dragon Quest XI S. The definitive edition of Dragon Quest XI is a celebration of traditional JRPGs. This is comfort food gaming. Turn-based battles, charming characters, a heartfelt story about good versus evil. The orchestral soundtrack replaces the original MIDI tracks, and the addition of a full 2D mode that reimagines the entire game in retro style adds massive replay value. The turn-based combat is classic Dragon Quest, simple enough to be accessible, deep enough to reward strategy. The Pep Power system creates combo attacks when party members enter heightened states. The character progression offers meaningful choices in how you build your party. Battles are never tedious because the pacing is perfect. The story hits emotional beats that land beautifully. The party members are genuinely likable. Eric's roguish charm, Veronica's fiery personality, Sylvando's fabulous optimism. Their relationships develop naturally across the journey. The narrative spans multiple acts with real stakes and satisfying payoffs. The world is gorgeous. Cel-shaded graphics bring Akira Toriyama's designs to life beautifully. Towns are bustling with NPCs, dungeons hide secrets and side quests, and
exploration always feels rewarding. This is Dragon Quest at its finest, a classic JRPG that knows exactly what it is and executes perfectly. Over 100 hours of pure adventure.
Supergiant's sequel to the roguelike masterpiece arrived on Switch in September 2025, bringing Melano's journey to Nintendo's platform in spectacular fashion. The combat is fundamentally different from Hades 1. More deliberate, magic-focused, requiring resource management rather than pure reaction speed. It's a slower burn that rewards patience. The magic system is the big shift. Your Omega moves consume mana, but deal devastating damage with screen-filling effects. Managing that resource becomes central to success. You need to balance aggressive Omega attacks with basic strikes to regenerate magic. It creates this ebb and flow pacing that feels fresh, even if it's less frantic than Zagreus' dash-heavy combat. The narrative is Supergiant's signature quality. Melano's quest to stop Kronos drives you forward, but the real draw is the relationships you build at the crossroads. Every run brings new dialogue, character development, and story revelations. The voice acting is phenomenal, the writing is sharp, and the mythology is explored with genuine depth. Visually, it's stunning. The art style is even more detailed than the original, with gorgeous hand-painted environments and fluid character animations. The soundtrack from Darren Korb is incredible. Melancholic melodies mixed with intense battle themes. On Switch specifically, performance holds up well in most situations, though intense moments can cause minor resolution drops in handheld mode. Once the combat clicks and you adapt to the more methodical pacing, it's genuinely fantastic. Number 8. Hollow Knight Silksong. Team Cherry's long-awaited sequel finally arrived on September 4th, 2025, and it's a masterpiece. Silksong takes everything that made Hollow Knight special and expands it. The map is even larger, the movement is even more fluid, and the boss choreography is some of the best in the entire genre. Playing as Hornet feels completely distinct from playing the Knight. The healing system is the major change. You consume your entire Silk Bar to heal 3 masks at once, creating high-stakes decision-making in boss fights. The all-or-nothing approach rewards aggressive play. You can heal mid-air during brief enemy staggers, creating clutch moments where perfect timing saves runs. It's divisive, but creates incredible tension. Farloom is sprawling and non-linear in ways that make Hollow Nest look guided. The interconnected world design is brilliant. You're constantly discovering shortcuts, unlocking fast travel points, and realizing how areas connect in unexpected ways. Getting lost is part of the experience, and unraveling the map's secrets is deeply satisfying. The combat toolkit is expansive. Hornet's Needle creates different attack patterns than the Knight's Nail, and tools like the Claw Line add movement options that open up combat strategies. Boss fights demand pattern recognition and perfect execution. They're tough, but always fair. The atmospheric design is untouchable. With gorgeous environments and a haunting soundtrack, this is Metroidvania perfection. Absolutely essential.
Guard Crush games and Datamu's beat-em-up roguelike is pure satisfaction. The combat feel is phenomenal. Every punch lands with perfect impact, the hit pause gives attacks weight, the screen shake and sound design make you feel every connection. If you love the physical sensation of brawling through enemies, this delivers in spades. The roguelike structure keeps runs fresh. Every playthrough offers different paths, enemy encounters, and power-ups. The permanent upgrades you unlock between runs create that addictive one more try loop. And the co-op is excellent. Grab a friend for local play and the game becomes even better, with synergistic abilities creating spectacular combo potential. The art direction is gorgeous. High production values across the board. Detailed character sprites, fluid animations, spectacular environmental designs. The fantasy setting gives the team room for creative enemy designs and memorable boss encounters. This is Streets of Rage 4's team applying their expertise to a roguelike framework, and it works beautifully.
The Game Kitchen and Team Ninja collaboration successfully translates Ninja Gaiden's 3D acrobatic combat into 2.5D. The movement tech depth is impressive. Wall running feels smooth, shuriken canceling works perfectly, and Izuna drops are satisfyingly brutal. They captured the series' identity while making it work in a side-scrolling format. The pixel art is stunning. Detailed animations bring every attack to life, and the environmental design showcases the Game Kitchen's art expertise from Blasphemous.
Boss encounters are spectacularly designed set pieces that demand pattern recognition and precise execution. When you unlock hard mode, the game truly opens up with remixed enemy placements and new challenges. The July 31st, 2025 release initially had performance issues on Switch at 30 FPS, but Dotemu released a 60 FPS patch on September 11th that transformed the experience on Switch too. Now it runs beautifully on the new hardware, delivering the responsive, frame-perfect gameplay this series demands. The core design is rock solid. This is Ninja Gaiden excellence brought to a new dimension.
This is how you remaster a classic. Retro Studios took a 20-plus-year-old masterpiece and made it feel completely modern while preserving everything that made the original special. It runs at locked 60 FPS in both docked and handheld modes, a technical marvel that shows what's possible when developers truly understand the hardware. The art direction is timeless. Talon 4 is gorgeously realized with intricate environmental details, atmospheric lighting, and a sense of isolation that makes exploration constantly engaging. The interconnected world design is brilliant. You're always discovering shortcuts and new paths as you unlock abilities. Backtracking never feels tedious because the world is so well crafted. The updated controls for dual-stick aiming make it the definitive way to play. The combat feels responsive, the platforming is precise, and scanning the environment for lore remains deeply satisfying. The sense of discovery as you piece together Talon 4's history through scan logs is unmatched in the genre. This is one of the greatest games ever made, now running flawlessly on Switch. The environmental storytelling, the perfect pacing, the iconic music, it's all here in the best possible form. If you've never experienced Metroid Prime, this is essential gaming. If you has, it's worth experiencing again in this perfect remaster masterpiece.
Number 4, Nier Automata. Getting Nier Automata on Switch at all is impressive. Yoko Taro's philosophical action RPG is one of gaming's most unique experiences. A story that uses multiple playthroughs to tell its complete narrative, constantly subverting expectations and breaking the fourth wall in ways that only games can achieve. The combat from Platinum Games is stylish and fluid. 2B sword combos chain beautifully, the pod program attacks add tactical variety, and perfect dodges trigger witch-time-style slow motion for devastating counters. The bullet hell sections blend seamlessly with melee combat, creating this unique hybrid that keeps encounters dynamic. The story is what makes this unforgettable. The cycle of war between androids and machines, the questions about consciousness and existence, the emotional gut punches that hit when you least expect them. This is narrative design that stays with you long after credits roll. The multiple endings aren't just epilogues, they're essential chapters that recontextualize everything. On Switch, it runs at 30 FPS with some input lag, but the story and world design are fully intact. If you're playing on easy or normal and you're here for the philosophical narrative rather than platinum trophies on the hardest difficulty, it's absolutely worth experiencing. This is one of gaming's most thought-provoking stories, now playable anywhere.
Platinum Games delivers their signature spectacle-driven action with Bayonetta 3. The Demon Slave system is the major addition. Summoning and controlling massive demons mid-combat creates these absurdly over-the-top moments where you're juggling between Bayonetta's combos and commanding kaiju to demolish everything on screen. It's pure Platinum Games chaos. The combat has phenomenal depth, chaining demon slave attacks into Bayonetta's combos, managing multiple summons simultaneously, triggering witch time on perfect dodges. When you master the systems, you feel unstoppable. The boss fights are appropriately absurd, with world-ending scale battles that escalate into complete insanity by the final chapters. The variety is impressive. You're fighting across dimensions, controlling different versions of Bayonetta with unique weapons, and experiencing set pieces that constantly surprise you. The game never settles into routine. Just when you think you've seen everything, it throws something completely unexpected at you. The spectacle is unmatched. This is Platinum Games at their most unrestrained, creating action sequences that are visually overwhelming in the best possible way. If you love stylish action games where every encounter is an opportunity to look impossibly cool while destroying hordes of enemies, Bayonetta 3 is essential.
Number 2, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. The game that redefined open-world design.
Breath of the Wild gives you complete freedom from the moment you leave the Great Plateau. You can go anywhere, tackle challenges in any order, and approach problems with creative solutions the developers never anticipated. That freedom is intoxicating. The physics engine is the secret sauce. Everything interacts in logical ways. Fire spreads through grass, metal conducts electricity, objects have weight and momentum. This systemic design creates emergent gameplay where your creativity is the only limit. Setting fire to grass to create updrafts, using metal objects as makeshift weapons, exploiting the environment to solve shrines, it all works beautifully. The exploration is endlessly rewarding. Every mountain peak promises a view. Every suspicious rock formation hides a Korok seed. Every shrine offers a self-contained puzzle to solve. The world is dense with secrets that reward curiosity. The minimalist UI and environmental storytelling mean you're never following waypoints. You're exploring because the world itself is captivating. The sense of discovery is what makes this special. Finding Eventide Island for the first time, stumbling onto Terry Town's construction, discovering the Master Sword in the Lost Woods. These are organic moments that feel earned. This is Nintendo at their absolute peak, creating a world that respects player intelligence and rewards experimentation. Revolutionary.
Mercury Steam and Nintendo created the definitive 2D Metroid. This is everything the series has been building toward. Fluid movement, intense combat, brilliant environmental design, and the perfect balance of exploration and action. Samus controls like a dream with responsive inputs and satisfying abilities that make traversal a joy. The EME sequences create genuine tension. These invincible robots patrol specific zones, and getting caught means instant death. You're forced to sneak, run, and improvise escape routes while your heart pounds. When you finally get the temporary power-up that lets you destroy an EME, the satisfaction is immense. These sequences are survival horror in a Metroid game, and they work perfectly. The combat is brutal and satisfying. Enemies hit hard, bosses demand pattern recognition and quick reflexes, and the parry mechanic rewards perfect timing with devastating counters. This is the most action-focused Metroid ever, with encounters that test your skills constantly. Mastering the combat feels incredible. The world design is classic Metroid brilliant. Interconnected areas that loop back on themselves, abilities that unlock new paths, sequence breaks for skilled players. ZDR is a joy to explore, with environmental storytelling revealing the planet's dark history. The pacing is perfect, the soundtrack is atmospheric, and the final boss sequence is one of gaming's greatest moments. This is Metroid perfection, the best 2D action-adventure game on Switch, and one of the greatest games Nintendo has ever published. If you own a Switch and love challenging, rewarding gameplay with perfect controls and brilliant level design, this is absolutely essential. Masterpiece.
There's your definitive list. 25 masterpieces that proved the Switch was one of gaming's greatest platforms. From revolutionary open-world adventures to perfect remasters, from brutal action games to peaceful exploration experiences, the Switch delivered gaming excellence across every genre. The common thread? These games understood their identity and executed it flawlessly. They respected players' time and intelligence. They delivered experiences you couldn't get anywhere else, or they brought incredible games to a portable format for the first time. If you're building your Switch collection, these are the essentials. These are the games that justify owning Nintendo's hybrid console, the experiences you'll remember years from now. Play them.